because her southern accent's weird. Her whole voice is weird. Her performance is weird. It's bizarre. It's almost like a Lynchian performance in a 1930s movie.
Yeah, I showed my kid Poltergeist not too long ago, and he thought that movie was just insanely boring. What is wrong with you? You're grounded.
It's insane, right?
Art the Clown.
I'm something different.
Hello, friends, and welcome back to another Modern Horror Movie Talk. I'm your host, Tyler Nichols, and today we have two guests, Lance Velchek and Mike Conway. Is that your name, or is it Terrifier 2 Shit the Better?
Or Mike Halloween Ends Conway. Either one.
Shots fired, guys, huh?
I got to get him started early. That way I'm a little worried that Mike's not going to, bring it to me after that last time because,
Yeah, I will, man. I got it.
So how you guys been?
Doing well, man. Living life. Out here in south suburbs of Chicago, like always, just kind of hanging out.
Nice.
Waiting to talk with you, man.
Mike, what about you?
I'm doing great, man. Just been a little bit of a busy week. I wish I was wearing Lance's right now because that looks really, really, really pretty.
Yeah, it's okay.
Look at that. I mean, I like your background too, Mike, but yeah, Lance, what in the hell? And look at that shirt you got. That is styling.
So where did I get this shirt? Well, look at this. It has Jason Voorhees. It has Freddy Krueger, Michael Myers. I take my whole damn shirt off. Oh, look at that.
Oh yeah, that's how you actually really dress when you came to meet me for lunch that one day.
Yeah, this is legitimately how I dress. It's not even, I'm not being cute or no, different hat. I have like 20 hats because I live where the sun is and I'm bald, so I got to keep my head shaded as possible. This is a great shirt and I do appreciate it, my friend. I do.
Yeah. I sent that over to Lance because as soon as I saw it, I was like, that's a Lance shirt and he's not going to buy it for himself. So he needs this.
I'm summing the kitchen. She was like, oh my God, that is exactly your kind of shirt. I'm like, I know.
That is awesome. Well, before we get into it, what you drinking?
Well, this is leftover from Cinco de Mayo for the Joe Bob special. I got a case of Modelo, so this is what I'm having straight out the can, man.
Nice.
Real classy with it.
For put in a glass, but okay, love what you love, man. I respect that. What about you, Tyler? You're the host. What are you drinking?
So I actually had this the last time. It's vodka with squirt. However, I added some frozen fruit, and it actually. It made it much, much better because the last time it was awful. And yeah, I really like vodka. So it's a nice refreshing drink because it is hot as fuck here.
It's an outside drink, man. I do it all the time. Oh, nice.
What are you drinking?
I got this cool little cup I got from Chinatown a while back. And so I haven't used it in a while. So I thought I'd pour something in here. I got a bunch of peanut butter whiskey from this brewery in St. Augustine. Every time I fly out to Florida, I always stop by there because they got kind of interesting stuff. And so I'm drinking a half glass of peanut butter whiskey.
Is that the same peanut butter whiskey that I had?
Well, it's yes, different bottle. Different bottle. Yeah.
Oh,
I finished it off real quick. Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's brutal. That our viewers need to know that's some stuff you might need to stay away from if you're not a big drinker. It messed me up.
Hey, we mixed.
So I'm pretty excited for this episode because this is an episode that has been in the works for a while because I always knew we were going to be covering this movie. And so today's film is Tai West's Pearl. In 1918, a young woman on the brink of madness pursues stardom in a desperate attempt to escape the drudgery, isolation, and lovelessness of life on her parents' farm. And just like with the other episodes, we will be doing a non-spoiler section and then a spoiler section. So I am the only one in this group that literally just today watched Pearl all the way through for the first time. You guys have seen it several times and have very positive opinions of it. And so I'm very curious as to why, because I won't say my opinion yet. But I'm very, very curious as to why you guys liked it so much. Mike, I'll start with you.
It started right off with me. I've been a fan of Tai West for a while, ever since House of the Devil. And I always try to catch everything he puts out, even some of his TV shows, his Western and the ballet violence is really, really good. So I was really pumped about X because that trailer was just so kick-ass. I loved it. And then that's when we found out that Pearl was coming out. Immediately was looking forward to it because I love the whole Technicolor era of films. And that's exactly what this thing brought to me. It's nothing like X, and that could be a good thing or, a bad thing, because there's some people out there.
Well, and you even bringing up X, I feel like maybe that's something that is a good starting point in terms of what your opinion of X is, because people have, for those that are unaware, Pearl is actually a prequel to X. And so, but yet X came out first and was filmed just before. There's all this weird stuff with it. So X, technically, we need to get into that, because then I feel like it's kind of hard. You have to do all this preamble for what you like about Pearl. So X first.
Yeah.
Lance, we'll go with you.
For X? Yes. I didn't like it. I think Jenna Ortega's, I like her. I think she's a cool little actress. She's intense. And I like the style. I love, the vintage porn scene. I think that's cool. It's kind of stuff that I saw growing up. So I went X, optimistic. I thought Mia Goth was great. I think Ortega did good. But I kind of found it to be sort of a generic slasher. Setting wise, that was cool, but it just wasn't my bag. I felt very underwhelmed. I went in with maybe higher expectations, as everybody's like X. I was like, okay. And I'm like, oh, I've seen this movie before.
Yeah.
Cool setting, I guess. That's fine. I didn't really give a shit. So that's why I'm surprised I liked Pearls, but probably why I like it is because it's really not even connected. Like it is, but in a way where like it's shoehorned into me. Like you could just change one name and it's not.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like it is a name only, but it's its own movie, and that's kind of why I dig it. But I didn't care for X. I don't love Ty West. I don't have anything against the guy. I just don't think his movies speak to me. House of the Devil is decent, but I thought it had pacing problems. X was okay, but it had pacing problems. I dig his shorts, actually. I think he did one for the first VHS, one for ABC's of Death, and I think those are decent stuff. It's good. I do think he's a director, though, that needs somebody to say, hey, we got to cut. I do think he's a little long-winded, personally. A long way to get back to the front was I didn't love X. It's not my thing. I don't find it engaging like others.
Mm-hmm.
So I didn't go into Pearl with any expectation. I went into it kind of like, we'll see what happens. Well,
and so I'll say right now, you guys might have noticed that Mike is not on screen right now. That's because he's doing camera stuff. So I'm gonna talk right now, and it's gonna seem like a 2-person show. So the main reason that it took me so long to watch Pearl was because I had the exact same reaction to X as you, where it was just extremely generic. For me, I thought the kills sucked. I thought that just the whole story setup felt very pointless. And that to me is when it's just, I can't get into a movie if I don't see the point. And that's all I felt the whole time with X, was just like, I didn't see the point. And I liked the trailer. Like Mike had said, the trailer looked good, and it seemed like the setup was, fun for a slasher, but it genuinely just didn't work for me in any way. And I'm like you, I like Ortega.
Well, of course, she's a cutie. She acts well, and I think she has like a lot of intensity that I really appreciate. What do you think of House of the Devil, though?
In terms of story,
I'm just in general, because I feel like that and X are like his claims to fame. So I just think it'd be good for us.
Overrated. I would say very overrated.
Yes.
But it's the fact that it looks like a film that was made in the 70s is such an impressive feat, because it was made in 2010 or something crazy.
Yeah, it has Tom Noonan. I've always loved Mr. Kane from RoboCop 2. It has moments. It's funny. I want to actually bring up real quick. I will tie this into Pearl eventually, but I do think that Ty West as a technical director is actually very good. Because I think there's a lot of technical aspects of Pearl that I really like, and I'd probably tie that into. I like him more than obviously House of the Devil, but House of the Devil, I think, on a technical aspect, is actually a great movie. Like how it's shot, how it's blocked, how it looks vintage. I just think it's kind of long-winded and boring.
Yeah, I think that's right on. And look at that, we have a third person again. Mike, what do you think of X?
I loved X. I know a lot of people didn't like it. A lot of people thought it was gross.
People love it, man. It's like his top movie.
Yeah, I mean, it was my type of movie. I liked it. It definitely did remind me of those Texas Chainsaw Massacre type movies, and even some of the shots in there were blatant I wouldn't say rip-offs or homages. I liked Ty West style, so I'm a fan of his already. So I might be a little biased as to why I liked it. I just know, like, whenever I showed it to people, pretty much everybody I showed it to didn't like it because they thought it was gross. They didn't like seeing the old folks getting it on, you know?
I cut that out of my memory. I completely forgot that was even a thing.
Oh yeah, that was it. That was it. But yeah, that was the main thing. That was the main reason. Like some people didn't like it. The people I showed it to.
I think it's hugely popular. I think you were actually on the right side of history. I think Tyler and I are not, because everybody brings up X. X is like a modern classic, it seems, which is cool. Love what you love. I'm a little bit of a contrarian, I guess, at times, and this is the life I live. So don't apologize. I'm just going to say, though, you're on the right side. Even if your friends didn't like it, I promise you. I've seen more people defend X and dislike it. I think I'm like the only one. You know?
Oh, no. I don't mind if someone didn't like what I like. I mean, as long as I liked it, that's fine by me. That's the only review I really care about.
No, but I'm saying your friends are wrong because you like it, man. That's how I view it. If I show a friend a movie and they didn't like it, I'm like, well, something's wrong with you. If you don't like Weekend at Bernie's, that's sad on you, not on me. I'm on the side of history. You need to repent.
That's a shame if someone didn't like Weekend at Bernie's.
There's certain movies where it's just like, yeah, you don't like this? Oh, I can't trust your opinion on film. For me, that's like a Halloween, you know. I have like the upper echelon. I don't go too crazy with like the obscure stuff. I'm like, my must-haves are, you know, the Halloweens, the Shinings, the stuff that's on everyone's must-have list.
If somebody doesn't like Jaws, I immediately don't want them around children or small animals. I'm like, listen, we can hang out outside when I have my back to some sort of wall, but like I'm not getting any dark corners if somebody doesn't like Jaws, weirdo, you know?
Yeah, I showed my kid Poltergeist not too long ago, and he thought that movie was just insanely boring. Dude, what is wrong with you? You're grounded. That's
something though that my friend is a kid. He just turned 16. Oh my gosh, I'm old. But the moral of the story is that we showed him some stuff a couple of years back, and I could tell he wasn't into it. I'm like, man, if there's a cusp where where you can see something and it still be cool to a kid. And I always relate to like my dad showing me like the early Dirty Harry movies when I was a kid. I didn't like them. I like them now because in high school and in my 20s I got into them. But like seeing that stuff at that age, I was like, this is boring, and I fear for that. Like kids are gonna look at Jaws and Poltergeist and God forbid Big Trouble in Little China and be like, oh, it's not fun. I'm like, no, you're wrong. But then my dad was probably like, should I give this kid away? He doesn't like Dirty Harry. Should I just leave him at the fire department? You know, I do believe, and I like this movie. I would give it a high score, but I will be the first to admit though that the horror fandom, and I'm a part of it. I love it, even if I don't dress like it. I always joke that anytime I go to like a horror convention, I stick out because I'm not wearing a Slayer shirt. I'm fucking dressed like this. Like, hey guys, you know, anybody at a cocaine belly? But Ty West is super popular now. He's becoming, at this point, I would say he's a modern master for horror. I don't necessarily agree with that, but at this point he is, because I mean Maxine people are just coming all over, and that's not out. There's just a picture of her in
her walking with Halsey. I talked about it on the last episode. And
people are like, oh my god, it's gotta be great. It's like, well, maybe I'm willing to get a chance. It's cool, but I just think that we're in a moment now where he just has risen. He's at a good place now. Anything he does, it's kind of like Jordan Peele in a way, where they can't do no wrong, and that's fine. And I respect that. Like we are, you know, showering these people. I think that's good, because when it happens to people I love, I'm down with it. But it's the same thing where no matter what they put out, it's amazing from the get go. Like you don't have to earn anything. And I think Pearl was that sort of. X was considered like this awesome classic, and then Pearl came out, and people start off with, oh, it's going to be amazing. That was the ground level. It's going to be amazing. And so I don't blame you. Happened with me with Evil Dead. And I believe you too. Well, I know you too, was talking about it.
Mm-hmm. Well, and that's the thing too, is that I think that with such expectations, with everyone liking it so much, and then not liking X, I put this off for a very long time. I've started Pearl on several occasions and then shut it off because I'm like, I'm not feeling it, because it has a very, very distinct feel to it.
Old Hollywood.
And it's edited in a very strange way. The cuts, it's the kind of thing that I notice where the editing doesn't usually stand out to me in a slasher film for the most part, because I mean, it's pretty basic. You're seeing what you need to see. But the edits in this, he definitely threw back to old Hollywood style. And that was one aspect that just really impressed me. And I was surprised too to see that they originally wanted to film it in black and white. And so they were turned down by A24. And so their response was, okay, if we can't, then we're going to go oversaturated. We're going to go the opposite.
Yeah, Technicolor vibe. Yeah.
Which I don't think the movie would have worked black and white. I think the color makes it.
Yeah, it could have. I would like them. I'm surprised I don't own it on physical media, but I'm surprised they didn't pull a mist and release it with the black and white version. Like you get to choose like that. I know they didn't film like that, but there's ways to do it in post that I'm sure would make it look good just to get the vibe across. But I would have been down, but I prefer colored movies anyway. And I like that this looks like the stuff my nana used to watch when I was a kid all the time. You know, this looks like Gone with the Wind.
Yeah.
Actually, it would have been cool if they started off in that sepia tone, like Wizard of Oz, and then maybe once the barn doors open up, it goes straight into Technicolor. That would have been pretty sweet also.
The barn door scene's awesome because that to me is very old Hollywood. It's like into the whimsical score, and it goes out, you know?
The music in general, they really nail the old Hollywood aesthetic because it's very flighty, and then that the contrast with what's going on screen, it is just interesting to see. I don't understand, so maybe you guys can explain it to me. What is everyone's fascination with Mia Goth's performance in this movie? Because I'm gonna say it right now. It's fine.
Oh, you're out of your goddamn mind. Are you serious?
You are fucking yeah.
You are.
No.
There's literally a scene where she's saying, "No, I'm a star," and her fucking accent comes through.
Please, I'm a star!
Her fucking English accent? What
sure,
is
but
she
her
English?
natural voice is so weird. It doesn't bother me here because her southern accent's weird. Her whole voice is weird. Her performance is weird. It's bizarre. It's almost like a Lynchian performance in a 1930s movie.
There's great moments. I agree. There's great moments.
I would say from fucking start to finish, man. Mike, jump in, please.
No.
I can't take this over.
No, I mean, I'm actually kind of lost words because you said it was just fine. No, like everything that she does, like her facial emotions, even if like her accent comes out weird, her emotions in her face, it's just really terrific acting, man. I love everything about it, especially, I mean, I don't want to spoil anything yet.
Can we get into spoilers? I mean, we're talking for 20 minutes.
I feel like we haven't really talked about anything.
We gave our opinions, that we'd like it, you don't like it. I'm just asking because
I don't not like it.
Oh, I'll put it words in your mouth. I'm just saying it might be a good time to actually get into details because I'm holding back.
Okay, so yeah, everyone, I guess you got a brief rundown of the whatever we had talked about.
An hour into the episode, it's like, yeah, we talked.
It's not even. You guys see, these guys think that we've had a lot of talk, but they don't realize how much I'm cutting out. So that's what's going on. Yeah. And so
this is 3 minutes in the episode. I look like an asshole now because I've been talking forever. It's like, man, Lance has no time.
Sorry, I had to get rid of that very sexist rant of mine. Oh wait, can I joke about that in 2023, or people are going to think I'm serious? But
cancel yourself.
Yeah. Okay, let's spoilers.
When I go back to the emotions in her face, the final shot that pretty much goes straight into the credits. The way she smiles is first like, it's all happy, but like the way like her eyebrows like kind of go in and then just tears just drop. Like crying on camera is really, really impressive to me more than anything. So just that fact was really great. And every other thing that she was doing, even talking to her sister-in-law whenever she was saying that she's happy that her sister-in-law got the part for dancing. And
that monologue is brilliant. That 7-minute monologue. Yeah.
Yeah, that whole monologue is fantastic. But then when she turns to her sister-in-law and says, "I'm happy you got the part," and when her sister-in-law is like, "No, I didn't." She's like, "Well, don't lie to me." And then you can just see her eyebrows kind of arch and giving her like that kind of look, like the way that she just switches from different emotions like up on a beat is just great. So that's why I think she does a fantastic job in this movie.
Lance, you and I last week talked about how much accents slipping through really annoy us Because it happens a lot in Evil Dead, or was that 2 weeks ago with Evil Dead Rise?
Yeah, I'm a big thing of accents. Absolutely. More so.
That's why this bugged me so much. I kept hearing her fucking normal accent.
But her
and
normal
it really
accent
bugged
doesn't
me.
sound like an English accent. That sounds like some fucking, it sounds like Man Who Fell From Earth when Bowie's like coming to Earth and trying to be human. That's what that sounds like. I'm not convinced Mia Goth is from this world. That's how bizarre she is. And that's why I love her. I heard normal voice. I remember being like, that's not it. She's faking it. She's fucking with the interviewer, right? And I looked it up and it's like, no, she talks.
I have such a naturally high-pitched voice, I think, and I guess that just comes from anxiety, I guess.
So my argument to you, at least on my perspective, is I can't tell where she's from regardless. It's it's this bizarre accent. So it's slipping through to me almost works because her accent in this is just bizarre. I wouldn't even call it bad because I can't place it, but it's not like Liam Neeson I can't place where it's just this weird generic, like, you know, I got a special set of skill. It's like, no, it's just like, but Mom, where we go? Yeah. I'm like, oh, that's bizarre. But it matches her performance because she's, you know, like I said, she almost seems like she's from a Lynch film put into an old fashioned 30s Hollywood movie. And it didn't bother me as much. Now, but I can't fight somebody who gets bothered accents. So just by a technicality, I can't fucking argue against you because I believe that people should care about accents more. I'm going to relinquish this one because I absolutely love Mia Goth and I think her weird ass accent works. That's the only thing I could throw at you. And just so I'm not being a hypocrite, hold on. There's a few other people that I'm willing to let go. Sam Neill, I love that motherfucker. But let's be real honest. Alan Grant, he's not from my country. I don't know where he's from. That's a weird ass American accent, but I like Sam Neill, so he gets the pass.
Dick Van Dyke and Sound of Music.
I love that because the British deserve it. They deserve it. It makes them angry. I'm happy. It makes me good. Because that's how I feel every time when you fucking guys comes over here and is like, well, I got to make sure we're going to the car. I'm like, we didn't do a second take. That's a take we're using. And I got to sit here as an American. Just be like, okay, we're good. You know, or anytime there's a Canadian that just like has that soft fucking vowel where it's like, okay, let's get on here. Like, so Dick Van Dyke did a great British accent, a great one. I stick by it. It sounds like everyone I've ever met.
Well, it's a little Cockney accent from Mary Poppins. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, most realistic accents of all time, you know?
Yeah.
Guy gets forget so much shit. But so I'm talking a lot. I'm just going to say, I can't fight you in the accent. So I will give you this one. I will say, fair enough.
Well, yeah, I think that British people in general do really weird Southern accents, just like in True Blood, and I can't think of anything else.
They can't.
Okay.
And the reason is the English. I mean, I've seen this in interviews. I mean, Christian Bale just said it not too long ago, where they're exposed to American pop culture a lot more, so they could actually do American accents better. The problem is not all of them can, and not all of them can do great ones. Christian Bale can, and so can he was Commissioner Gordon. What's his fucking name?
Oh yeah, Gary Oldman.
Gary Oldman. Yeah, I mean, Oldman's been doing it since The Professional. Yeah. Everyone, it's like, oh, mwah.
I didn't even know his nationality for ages because he just sinks into the role.
But my argument for the English is we don't produce a lot of Southern art. And rightfully so. I mean, they have good food, but like they're not. I don't look to the South for cinema. No offense, or music for that matter. Except for I'll give them Memphis, but Memphis is really just blues anyway. So that's us just going down there. But they're not exposed to it, so they're not as good at it. It's like we could do a Queen's British accent, but it's really hard to do like a Northern English, like a Manchester accent. Like that shit's hard,
Mm-hmm.
So I always just want to say that it all depends. But the English cannot do a Southern accent to save their lives.
Yeah.
But Mia Goth does a weird enough one where I'm okay, but I can't count this as a win because by my own nature, Tyler's right. Yeah, you caught it, and you're a better man than me.
Well, I need to watch it again because I didn't catch it.
She slips a couple times.
Yeah, she slipped. It very much. It stood out to me, and mostly because I don't really put much stock in the Oscars. However, when I do see a performance, and I'm like, oh, that is perfect, amazing performance that needs to be like nominated. So then when I saw the people getting very upset about Mia not being nominated, and then I got to finally see this performance where I was just like, I saw the flaws. So then I'm like, no, the Academy voters were right on this one. Like it wasn't really.
Okay. Mike, jump in. Mike, jump in. It's fine.
I'm sorry. When's the last time that someone won an Academy Award and couldn't keep their accent consistent?
She should have been nominated, is all I'm saying. I'm not saying she should have won, but she shouldn't have been nominated for this. She should have been nominated for Infinity Pool and Suspiria. I think she should be nominated. She goes all the way in. Yeah.
Actually, I've never seen Suspiria, but I think she definitely should have been nominated. Has Toni Collette get nominated at all for Hereditary?
No.
Toni Collette should have been nominated for The Sixth Sense. That scene where she talks about her mom in the car is an Oscar performance. But I mean, horror's never getting nominated. That just is what it is.
Yeah.
Unless somebody dies in like an accident. Maybe.
I think horror can get nominated. We just have to actually put worthy performances on a pedestal so that then people that are not horror fans are not then like, why is the horror community freaking out about this performance? That's because
Oscar nominated performance, my friend.
it's just like when comic book fans, which I count myself amongst them, were trying to campaign for Robert Downey Jr. for Avengers. So I'm like, just because he died doesn't mean Endgame is this amazing performance.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I guess fair enough. If you're going to nominate Robert Downey Jr., better be for Weird Science. That's the Oscar-winning performance. No. Mia Goth knocks out of the park. Her monologues are good. Her emoting is amazing. She's weird. She's uncomfortable the entire time. I mean, here's the thing. I'll say this: why this is a good movie and why I really liked it. A lot of it is technical, and a lot of it is her and her mom. The woman that played the mother is
my God,
brilliant. Well, I wrote it down. She goes, like, how is it you find a life so beneath you? And she's like, why do you hate me, mama? It's just, it's just so good. Her mother was amazing. She gives a little speech in a thunderstorm and she stands up and it gets a little more intense. She's basically saying like, I look at you, you're going to fail. And I know you're going to feel like you always do. And they'll see what I've always seen. I'm like, oh my God, give her an Oscar too. Come on, let's hand them out.
And her dad, man, like her dad didn't say a single word, but you could feel his terror with every shot that you see on him.
I'm sorry, I'm actually making facial expression with glasses, but he like looks scared.
I got you. But yeah, no, like his the way he emotes as well. I thought was fantastic. I think everybody in this movie was just great, but especially like her parents were definitely spot on as well.
Yeah, the mom. I was shocked to see that she was actually the intimacy coordinator on X and got the job.
Yeah. Yep.
Interesting.
Yeah. Insane. I think the mom is the best part of the movie for me. I loved her, thought she did such a good job to the point that then when I saw that she's an actress too, but the fact that then she got the job just being the intimacy coordinator, like that's insane. When she learned German for it, and apparently there were German members of the crew that were like blown away and did not know that she wasn't German or like didn't know that she just learned German. That's impressive.
Her accent sounded good to me, but obviously as an American, I can't vouch for it. But yeah, she was good, man. She was good.
Yeah, I didn't even know that she was not German.
She does such a good. Again, that was the role that just drew me every time she was on screen. I was really disappointed when she gets killed off like halfway through the movie. It's like, damn it, or not killed. Guess she's technically still around, but in terms of the great acting, we're not getting any of that great acting anymore. She's
fuck off.
She's just a husk.
Well,
Oh
yeah,
no, that wasn't me. That wasn't.
I thought you meant like the movie's over, no acting anymore. I was like,
no, I meant
on.
because she's just like a husk. She's not doing anything after that.
The movie's done, and you click it off. You're like, no more acting in this shit.
Yeah, if the mom's gone, I'm done. I'm done with it.
We're talking about Pearl. You're like, yeah, I never finished it. The mom died, and I felt the story was over. You took your ending and left. You walked out on a high note.
Well, Tyler, what did you like about it? Like, what stood out for you the most, other than the mom?
The scarecrow mask that was on the scarecrow. I really enjoyed the parallels between like the Spanish flu and COVID with the masks. Thought that was really brilliant, being able to make that connection. And then the dock scene where he's just waiting for the croc to come out. That's really tense. And as someone that absolutely hated all of the, or I guess alligator, croc stuff, whatever it is, I hated that stuff so much in X and almost shut the movie off as soon as they even introduced the alligator thing. I think that's a real dumb element. And as soon as an animal like that is being used as like a Grim Reaper kind of thing, I don't know. I had issues with that. And so I was worried that it was back in this movie, but I think that whole scene won me over with it. I just liked that a lot. And I liked the Pearl showing, like her doing all of the like showing off the farm stuff. I enjoyed that. Otherwise, I mean, I had issues. Again, it's kind of like with Evil Dead Rise a few weeks ago. I don't hate the movie. It's just that because I kept seeing 9s and 10s for it, that makes the negatives stand out to me more, and where I feel like I need to address them.
I feel you. I grew up since I was in 4th grade around theater. So seeing stuff that kind of relates to theater or even dance or even Hollywood in general, that stuff really speaks to me. So I might get feel a little attached to it a little bit more. And that's what it did to me. And yeah, so I just connected to it a little bit more, definitely more than X. But in my opinion, I think Pearl makes X a better movie as well, even though I already liked X.
See, the connections between Pearl and X feel very, I don't know. It kind of, it feels like what is the connection in terms of anything meaningful? I was waiting for something to happen that then, and also this could just be the fact that I only saw X the one time. I haven't watched it again, don't really have any intention of watching it again. And so I could have missed stuff where there was a bunch of, parallels to X that I just missed.
Well, I mean, I guess other than the alligator and, there's some alligator baby eggs in there. So maybe one of those eggs will grow up into be the alligator that we see in X.
Is it not the same alligator? I just assumed that they lived that.
I think I read somewhere that wasn't supposed to be the same alligator, but who knows?
The dinosaurs anyway.
Yeah, and the fact that she wants to grow up to be this big star, and she accepts that she's never going to leave the farm, and so that kind of leads into X also. So whenever she sees Maxine in X, that's when she sees herself in Maxine, and that's why she's so attached to Maxine also.
I think you actually just brought up a reason as to why I didn't really see the point, because we already know that she didn't leave the farm. We've seen X. There's all this buildup for her, getting out, but we already know that she didn't get out.
I guess it really doesn't matter. I guess it's more maybe like a little, as they say, a character study on Pearl, what made Pearl become older psychotic murderer. I would consider it not really a prequel. I would really consider Pearl more of a standalone movie than like a prequel or a sequel. And even though it definitely is a prequel, but I think it really stands on its own. You don't really need to see one to enjoy the other.
I agree. Actually, I think that's why I like it. I think it's a connection so weak that I just ignore that it exists. I probably wouldn't like it as much if it was required reading for me to see X just to like this, because it's not. I mean, it's so connected in such a flimsy way. I'm like, doesn't exist. It's just an old movie of this old woman.
I have to ask too, because so what Mia Goth is playing, she plays a character in X and she plays a character in Pearl. She plays Pearl in both films, but then she's in Maxine as well in X. So is Maxine supposed to have any kind of relation to Pearl?
Maybe we'll find out.
I mean, the new one? Oh, I don't know.
I'm not saying that wrong, right? Her name is Maxine.
Yeah, Maxine.
In X.
Yeah.
Well, the new movie's called Maxine with 3 X's.
That's what I'm saying. Is so what is the fucking why? My thing is, why the fuck was Mia Goth under the makeup? You know what I mean? Other than just surprise. I just don't understand the connection. I don't understand the point of her playing Maxine in X, but then also playing Pearl in X. You know what I mean? And then she then plays a prequel in Pearl where she looks the exact same as Maxine, but she's Pearl. You know what I mean? Just to give Mia Goth more work. I mean, that's all it is. Let's be honest. It's just like Tarantino found Uma Thurman, Ty West found Mia Goth, and he's got to give her as much work as possible. That's all that is. Let's not pretend. It's not even. There's no smart or even interesting connection. It's surface level all the way. But he likes her. I asked her why. Put her as much shit as possible. In fact, I want her in everything now. And she's the girl, man. She's the it one for me because she's bizarre, and I respect how bizarre she is. I mean, her performance in Infinity Pool is one of my favorite of the year. She is so good in Infinity Pool.
And I think that's her real voice, but I don't know. It might be a weird accent. I can't tell.
Her accent is always going to be a mystery.
James!
Here's a spineless worm and a bedwetter, and he'd sell his own mother for horse meat to save himself!
I was genuinely shocked to find out was that the stag film in Pearl is a real stag film called
that was real.
A Free Ride from 1915. Because all I could think when it came on screen, I'm like, whoa, did they film? Did they ask some poor girl to get her ass grabbed and stuff in this. And I was kind of relieved to see that it was like, oh, okay, so this isn't old. But then it kind of made me feel gross because I'm like, ooh, what kind of stuff is going on in this stag film? You guys know anything more about this?
No, I didn't look into it. It's not my era.
Other than known as real.
You know, I could get. I like some vintage just because I'm a little older, but that's a bit too much for me.
You know, like the 1915 porn.
Exactly. The crank.
The pre-Spanish flu porn.
I like that scene though, where she like bangs the guy that looks like he's related to Henry Cavill or Cavill, whatever his name is.
That's it. Man, that was bothering me. It's like, this guy looks like somebody. It's not.
Yeah, like if Superman had like a brother. You know, that's that guy. That's that guy.
You guys say all this, and then we're gonna find out that guy is cast in like Superman Legacy or something.
Hey, I support all decisions until I see the movie. You know, I never hark on a casting decision until the movie comes out. You never know. Mike,
I feel like you've been slightly quiet. Is there anything else that you love about this movie that you feel like you need to talk about?
Everything that I already told you is pretty much how I really feel about the movie. It's like I love the old vintage Technicolor type of movies. I still love Wizard of Oz. It's always gonna be a classic to me. And the fact that I grew up in theater, the dance scene where she's where she's trying out for them, and the way that the curtain kind of just opens up and it looks like this old like USO type show. I thought that was fantastic too, man. But even though her dance is just kind of, obviously not great.
Yeah, and that's on purpose though.
Yeah, it was on purpose. That scene in particular is one that actually really stood up to me the most, other than her monologue. And that monologue, I go back to, that was an Oscar-worthy monologue.
The dance was a problem in terms of the technical. There was just issues in terms of the green screen that I noticed, but otherwise, I thought that showed good character development with her and just was interesting. But yeah, I had issues with the. Not sure if you guys noticed, but the green screen on that is not good.
I didn't actually.
Yeah. I did not notice either.
Go back. Yeah, I'm usually pretty good about that. But
I watched it again this morning. I watched it last night and this morning.
Yeah, I watched it this morning, and that kind of stuff just always stands out to me. It always, I don't know, green screen and accents. I guess I'll always have an issue with.
I can't harp you on that, man. You know?
I mean, it's impressive how quickly they made this movie, because they made it pretty much at the exact same time, back to back, without even knowing that they're going to make this movie. Like, they had like a little small break. They wrote Pearl together, Mia Goth and Tai West, and then they immediately got the green light. Well, we already have all these props. Let's go ahead and make this house look brand spanking new again. And that stuff's kind of impressive. So yeah, I mean, sure, there will be flaws like in green screen and everything like that.
Did you guys notice that? Because you bringing up the quickness of it, it does make me think that the only reason that they were able to pull that off so well is because of the old school aesthetic. The sound, the Foley work, they're not having to create quite as much of a sound design, because it just seems like it seems like they're going very minimalist with a lot of so many of the elements here, that then I feel like they were able to cut down on expenses. That's just what it came across to me as, not in like a bad way. I kind of liked the indie. It felt like this was not A24. It felt like an even more kind of indie film.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, A24 is definitely a hit or miss for a lot of folks. Like, very misleading with their trailers. And so yeah, this one didn't really feel like an A24 movie at all. Neither did X, really.
Yeah, I would agree with that. A24 tends to. I think one of the key things with A24 is their cinematography. They just have such, I don't know, interesting cinematography, and the cinematography in this is very good. But I think they're going for, since it's that old school, that old Hollywood
style
look. Yeah, it's not the same. They're not doing sweeping camera move. You know what I mean? It's just a different. It's more. It seemed like there was more static shots but I could be misremembering.
Yeah, there was, except for that one scene where Mia Goth is coming, where Pearl is going towards her sister-in-law with the axe.
I actually wrote that down. That whole shot is great. Though I got so annoyed. she again, this is like I hate mentioning this kind of stuff, because then people are like, will then be like, you dislike it because of that. This is just a moment that I just noticed. Her falling, like she falls in such a ridiculous like horror movie way that just made me crack up. Or it's like, just get it into fifth gear, girl. I swear, just go a little bit faster. You got it. I have faith in you.
But yeah, that whole thing when she comes out of her house and kind of just stands there and just slowly moves to the axe. And then just the way she follows her is so good. Except for, obviously I noticed that this morning too. Whenever she fell, I started kind of cracking up laughing also.
Very, very well done. And so finally for ratings, I think that ratings are a very, very interesting part, even though I know Lance hates doing it. So I'll let him stew on it a little bit. Mike, what's your rating for this?
10. It's a perfect 10 for me. I can't really say it's a perfect movie because there's only a small handful of perfect movies to me, like Back to the Future, Pee-wee's Big Adventure, perfect. I mean, if there's flaws in this movie, they're very minor. So I'll just make my final at 9.5.
No, fuck that. That's a 10. That's the first 10 on the show. That's 9.5 isn't even going up on there. 10.
All right. Fuck
the first 10 on the show.
All right. So I can't. It's obviously not going to be a perfect film compared to the classic movies. But as far as enjoyment, it's a perfect 10. If I'm going to give, what did I give Terrifier 2? Did I give it a 7 or an 8?
So you give it a 9.
Probably gave it a 9. Buddy.
You gave it a 9.
I didn't give it a 9. Go back and watch that video.
Play the clip of him giving it a 9 right after he says he didn't give it a 9, please.
Yeah. I'm gonna edit it anyway, and I'll make it seem like you gave it a 9, even if you didn't.
If I'm gonna rate this thing as an enjoyment for myself personally, I would give this thing an 8.
I really can't remember what I just said of it. It's not a 9, man. I promise.
Add the clip back in. Add it back
in.
in.
If he adds the clip back in, and then he takes my voice right now saying 9, and he just overdubs it over my voice, that's not be cool.
This is all gonna be in too. So
I'd appreciate if he did just awkwardly shoehorn your clearly different voice and audio into that clip. Yeah, I'd be more impressed.
I'm just gonna start having a segment wherever there's like a movie where it's like, oh, the guests and I really like it. I'm like, oh, what does Mike think? 3 out of 10.
I think it's a perfect movie. It's 10, man. It's one of the best movies I've seen in about 10 years.
It's an 8. I'd say it's yeah. B. It's a B. Is that a B, right? Yeah, B's an 8, right? Yeah, probably.
B minus.
Yeah, I'd say B minus. Like it's an 8. It's an 8. It's not a high 8. I would say it's an even 8. Mostly for Mia Goth and on the technical aspect. I would say, I guess, just because I don't know if I gave any negatives, I do think you could shave off about 10, maybe 15 minutes. I do think there is some lag, but I do think that's a Tai West thing.
Yeah.
So I do think with some polishing, I might even give it a B plus, but 8. A solid 8 from me.
Yeah, you bring up a good point about the cutting, because I feel like I always mention that on the show in terms of this could have used a little bit of trimming, but I think it's only an hour 42 minutes, right? It's not anything too crazy.
No. But I mean, there is
that first act though has the first act has some stuff where it moves slow, because I remember it was essentially once the mother gets killed. That's when I was like, it's pretty much nonstop from that point on. You
could take there's the her taking a bath in her dad is weird and interesting to me. I like that sort of creepy, weird thing. So there's things in there that I understand why it's there. Yeah. There's a lot of stuff in between, her traversing all the way to the theater. It's like, it's cute. I like it. It's very old school, but we could cut that out. You could just have her at the movie theater. I don't need to see her ride the fucking bike. It's all good. Yeah.
I would say that with most of her reaction or interactions with the projectionist could have been trimmed in order for us to get the same point. Because I feel like a lot of the point that they're trying to get across with her weird relationship with the projectionist is then solidified in the monologue, which then kind of makes it where looking back on it, it's like, yeah, we don't need quite as much with the projectionist because the monologue does so much of the work.
I was going to say, there is a scene I really like that when he realizes that getting laid is not worth it enough because she's crazy. And there's a look in his eyes, and it's a great look. And I was like, oh, that's emoting for you. He's like, I gotta go. I gotta
get going.
Yeah, and I like when he gets killed in the car and the car keeps moving along. Yeah, there are interesting aspects, but yeah. So for my rating, again, it's always tough because I feel like most people watching this are like, oh, well, he just talked shit the whole time. But no, I would still consider this a 7 out of 10 movie. I still really enjoyed it, and
that's solid, man, solid.
And yeah, again, it's just the negative I feel like I need to mention the negatives. I will always be the contrarian on the show, I guess. That's just how it's going to be.
Yeah, it was hard for me to find a negative in this one. I was just so captivated by it. So I was, whenever you mention these things, I was like, I don't really see that, but maybe I need to go back and watch it. Maybe I just need to watch some things with a critical eye sometimes.
But also enjoy what you enjoy. You don't need to hate things like I don't know. This is a great lesson for any viewer. Like what you like. It does not matter. I wish that I liked more stuff that I didn't have as critical of an eye, but just kind of how it goes. We're not going on to the next week's stuff yet because there's actually something that I want to talk to you guys about. We're not doing a trailer viewing reaction, but I want to talk to you guys about a trailer that released this week called The Meg 2, The Trench. I don't know about you guys, but I am so ready for this fucking movie. It looks so much fun. So much fun. Mike, I see you nodding your head. What do you think of it?
I hated The Meg, the first one. I thought it could have been so much more than what it was. And then when I see the trailer for this one, that's the movie that Meg should have been. And this looks so fun. Just like you said, man, I cannot wait to see this. Am I going to see it in theaters? Who knows? We'll see. But yeah, I can't wait to see it. It looks great. The poster looks so much fun too, with the Meg coming out, and there's just like this little tiny dog on the dock.
But one aspect that does suck is that they spoil one of the big deaths in the movie with her up against the glass and saying, "Oh, that's Meg proof," and then she gets eaten. Why spoil that? Lance, did you even see the trailer? Do you know what we're talking about?
Yeah. I didn't care for the first one. I think this one looks dumb. Maybe it's gonna be fun. I gotta be honest. This is the kind of schlock that I usually don't like, but it all depends. This is a good example of if this is just stupidly gory and bloody. If this is Piranha 2, I'll have a great time. Piranha 2. If this is Piranha by Alexander Aja,
Piranha 3D, yeah.
Then I'm all in. But if it's not, though, if it's just bloodless CGI dinosaurs tearing shit apart, like I just don't have the time. I don't know how much time I have left on this earth, and it's like I want good schlock and not. I consider this again. I'm judging off a trailer, so I'm being kind of a dick right now. But it almost seems like the kind of schlock that is a little more mainstream. It's like, yeah, there might be a splurt. There's dinosaurs. It's like, yeah, but unless there's gore, then I don't care. I don't care. But we'll see. I didn't love the first one, so I'm not necessarily in love with this, but I do like the idea of a bunch of things eating people. I'm pro eating people, so I will wait for you to tell me if I should see it. Because a good example is you told me about Renfield. I was like, I don't want to see Renfield. But Nicolas Cage, he's great, but who gives a shit? I don't want to see some generic movie. And then you're like, oh, it's over the top gore. I'm like, oh, now you got my attention.
Yeah, over the top gore that's what I'm hoping for with this film. And they had said it was going to be rated R. And so I'm not seeing there's anything listed. Even the poster doesn't have anything. So that worries me that they changed course, because the trailer makes it seem like they're going, like, it looked very similar to the first one in that bloodless. It's just fun, but I'm still just holding out hope because Ben Wheatley is a horror guy. So that's why I'm still holding out hope that it is going to be horror, like, and still just bloody and violent. And if it isn't, then yeah, I will be disappointed. I am one of those people that I still enjoyed the first Meg, because this might be a little revealing, but the Meg, not the Meg, Meg was actually my favorite book as a kid. I loved it. It was literally, they had a tagline of Jurassic Park meets Jaws, and I loved it so much. And there were so many rumors for years of Meg being adapted to a film. And so when it finally happened, I was happy. And then Jason Statham was cast, and I was like, well, this isn't the movie that I thought it was going to be, but okay then. Because I'll tell you guys right now,
I support it, man.
The Jonas Taylor in the books is much more like Harrison Ford, Indiana Jones, not Jason Statham. So very, very different. Yeah, I'm so looking forward to that film. It looks like a blast.
Yeah, I mean, definitely looks like a lot of fun. Shark movies in general are definitely hit or miss. I cannot stand those Sharknado movies. at all. I think the last great shark movie was The Shallows with
Shell's fantastic.
Yeah.
I even thought 48 Meters Down, for being kind of silly at times, I thought that was pretty solid too, actually.
I hated all the jump scares.
But that is what it is. I'm okay with that. I'll be honest, because the bar is so low for shark movies. I just want something okay, and that's how depressing is that? I'm like, just give me something okay. But I think it's decent. But I actually really like The Shallows. Even though same thing, it had some issues. It is what it is. Good shark movies are so hard. There's like 5. And again, that's not kind of Jaws. Jaws is God. We're talking about like Episcopalians, Lutherans, and those other fucking weirdos,
Deep Blue Sea. Deep Blue Sea is like one of the only other shark movies that I'm like, yeah. And that's a bad movie.
Oh, yeah, that one. Oh, yeah.
I saw it in theaters.
Yeah,
come
awesome.
on. You're talking to me. Yeah. He had LL Cool J, Thomas Jane. Who else is in that? Samuel Jackson.
Michael Rappaport.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, I'm
so
all about
many
that.
stupid things.
Big Mako sharks with the grown teeth. I'm like, ooh, Mako sharks creepy looking, man. I'm down.
I actually started making omelets because of LL Cool J's little recipe in Deep Blue Sea. And he's like, the secret is add I think a tablespoon or 2 of water to your eggs. I'm like, it works.
Kill your arteries, but yeah.
I think that we pretty much have covered it. Next week on the show, we're doing something a little bit different just because of the fact that May is so scant with releases. So there is a Robert Rodriguez film with Ben Affleck that released just this past weekend called Hypnotic. And so figure may as well. We're not going to have many opportunities to talk about a Robert Rodriguez film on the show. So we'll be talking about Hypnotic next week. And editor-in-chief of Joe Blow, Chris Bumbray, will be the guest on that episode. So it should be an interesting one. I'm excited for it. This will be first time Chris is on the show. And yeah, I'm looking forward to that because I can't remember the last time I saw a Ben Affleck movie. So it should be interesting.
Town, probably for me.
Yeah, probably about the same. But that's really all. Thank you, Lance and Mike, for joining me and talking Pearl. And see you guys in the next episode. Bye-bye.